right, welcome, revelers. This is Off the Rails, Right versus Left, the podcast that we do because we think the left is evil. I'm Rob B.
And I'm Brad Lee.
And I'm Brian G.
And we are Off the Rails, Right versus Left. Again, we're doing this show because we think everybody needs to know that the left is evil.
Classic.
Welcome, revelers. I'm Rob B. Currently starting off the show by myself again. Should be joined here by Brad in a moment, but wanted to get started at least close to on time. So a lot of craziness going on in the world right now, and it's pretty much all driven by these freaking leftist socialist liberals and their horrible policy. I just got done at the grocery store, so the first thing that I have to talk about is freaking eggs. Like, I don't get it. What the hell happened? Like, I very clearly remember eggs used to be like $2 for an 18-pack. An 18-pack of eggs is now $8. And I could swear I just heard somebody claiming that inflation is getting under control. Inflation is coming down. Okay, if you're on a keto diet, that's gonna kill you. The cheapest meat is like $6 a pound for beef, like $4 a pound or $5 a pound for pork, $3 a pound for chicken. That's insane. Like, I remember not that long ago, oh yeah, that's right, before Biden decided to print a bunch of money, and his buddy Mayor Pete decided to destroy our supply chain, and yeah, it's all just ridiculous. And then with all the COVID lockdowns, shutting down processing plants and all of this, like, how many chickens were culled over the last 2 seasons that are now leading to a shortage of chickens, which, I don't know if you guys know, but chickens make eggs. So now you got ridiculously priced chicken, ridiculously priced eggs. Everything's ridiculous. Like, what point do people in this country get that just about everything bad that happens in their life is caused by a liberal policy? Like, everything. Like, your rent is too expensive? Liberals did it. Your taxes are too high? Liberals did it. And I'd even say rhinos, which Republicans in name only, they're contributing to it because they're just that. They're not really Republicans. They're not really conservatives, and they keep negotiating. Well, a $1.7 trillion omnibus spending bill is not a compromise. It's give them everything that they want. Before that, $1 trillion infrastructure, $1 trillion this, $1 trillion that. Like, why are they throwing money all over the place? The one thing the government has proven throughout 200 years of history in this country is government is incompetent, government is inept, and if you give government money, they will waste it. And now, not only are they wasting it, they're printing money that doesn't exist, so your money's worth less, and it's just crippling. And of course, you know, our strategic oil reserves are now almost empty, so Biden can't artificially deflate the prices by selling our strategic reserves to China, so now the prices of oil are going up again. And I'm pretty sure the dementia patient was just on TV calling conservatives fiscally demented. And then they're already starting to, like, tack on the debt ceiling on how the Republicans just need to raise it. No, they just don't. What they need to do is cancel as much spending as they need to cancel in order to make sure we can pay our bills without incurring more debt. So to take it on a personal level, what the government is doing is they racked out thousands and thousands of dollars of credit card debt. Now they're maxed out the limit on their credit cards, and they're asking for permission to loan or to borrow money to make their credit card payments. Every time the government raises the debt limit, that's what they're doing. They're borrowing money to pay on the debt that they already took. I think it's high time that we stop letting the government borrow money to pay debts. Like, it's absolutely insane fiscal irresponsibility, absolutely insane fiscal policy. It's just insane. And yet we keep doing it. We keep voting these people in. Sorry, there was a siren nearby, so I had to mute it there for a second so it wouldn't overpower the stream. But yeah, that's what they're doing. So getting ahead of this 6 months before the fight even happens, the answer needs to be no. So go out there, write your representatives, tell them to say no to raising the debt ceiling. If the government shuts down, okay. If the government defaults on its loan, yeah, you know what? It's going to make a lot of things like really hard, but you know what's going to make things even harder? Continued reckless spending. I'd almost rather the government default on its loan, despite whatever the consequences of that may end up needing to be, or renegotiating the debt or whatever, like a bankrupt country would have to do. Because at this point, the United States of America is bankrupt. You think, and yet, what do you hear Biden talking about? He wants to spend more money. He wants more money for the border, not to close it, but to process more people into it, people that we can't support and can't take part in the system. And so they become just a burden on the taxpayers. He wants to, every time he talks about a program, he talks about needing to expand it. We just need to say no to the debt ceiling until Democrats get on board repealing a whole bunch of the signatures. So, yeah, way past time. Now, the next thing that I kind of wanted to cover is the gas stove thing. Oh my God. So this is okay. So I want to tie the gas stoves to something else. Okay. So the gas stoves, the whole climate change thing, all of this stuff is like interconnected. Okay. The gas stoves has nothing to do with health. Okay. It has to do with saving the environment, which, first of all, we can't save the environment. We can't keep ourselves under control. How are we going to control an entire planet? And their solution is just horrible. Okay. Natural gas is a very clean burning energy source. People have been cooking with fire since the dawn of the human race. That is probably why there are so many people alive right now, because we cook our food and kill a lot of the bacteria and parasites that would otherwise kill us from eating the foods that we eat. So the idea of getting rid of fire for cooking is ridiculous. Okay, and perhaps they need to upgrade the requirements for ventilation in houses, because I've seen some houses that have pretty lax ventilation. But the reality is, what they're worried about is creating methane and other pollutants. But the power generation to create the electricity that would run an electric stove is going to pollute even more. And don't forget, in California, they were shutting off. Hey, welcome, Brad. Whoa.
Good evening.
Yeah. You're getting an echo. You don't have your headphones on?
I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, I can hear me coming through your microphone.
Check, check.
Okay, can you hear me without an echo? Okay, sounds good now. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I was echoing through your microphone. Yeah. So anyway, so I was talking about the whole gas stove thing.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just the whole thing is like a complete joke. It's more of their climate change bullshit. There was actually a politician who was just talking in the British I don't know what they call their Congress, the Parliament or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was talking about if the entire United Kingdom sunk into the ocean, those people, that's what, like 100 million people or something like that? You drop those 100 million people off the earth, that would only be 2% of the total emissions of CO2. Getting rid of our stoves is actually going to create more pollution. And like, I mean, the reality is I think they just want us back in the Stone Age. Like, that's literally what they want, because they want us to have mortality rates like the Stone Age, because they want to reduce the population.
Yep, all about population control. That's why they're pushing the trans agenda.
Yeah, they want to do both, population control and control the population. So, now here's the thing. If you have a gas stove, you can retrofit it to run propane. The city services shut down, you can still cook.
Yeah.
But they want to get rid of it. I guarantee you they're going to come for your gas barbecues next.
You're right.
Like, there is no limiting factor with anything that liberals want to do. It's always, this is what we're going to do until the next thing we come after.
Mm-hmm.
So, now, somebody in Biden's administration coming out and saying, oh, we're not planning on banning it. Everything that they say is a lie. And then you go look at what they're doing behind the scenes, and they're trying to ban them in new constructions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is like literally gas stoves. 5 years ago, you got tax credits for having gas stoves because of how much more energy efficient they are than an electric stove.
Right.
And they keep just reeling us backwards and backwards. Now, mind you, they're also trying to get rid of our primary source of energy, because they're trying to get rid of fossil fuels that provide all the electricity. And kind of an aside to this, I do like a little bit of the pushback that's coming. I think it's Wyoming.
Yep.
They're like instituting.
They're banning the electric vehicles.
Yeah, they're banning electric vehicles in the same year that California is banning gas vehicles. So they just said the technology is not to a place yet where it's efficient enough. And it's just putting undue burden on our electrical grid. And they're right. They're 100% right.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's great. Love Wyoming, other than the fact that dipwad Cheney was from there.
Right.
Other than that, love Wyoming. Beautiful country, wonderful people, lots of oil. So, yeah, so the whole thing with the stove, it's all connected. It's just them trying to push society into the trash. They're trying to kill as many of us as possible. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, but they literally are. Like, think about the things that they promote. Putting murderers back out on the street, pushing abortion, trying to put us into vehicles that we can't drive if they don't want us to, so we can't get to work. How many people did they shut down? Oh, but they'll feed you. But guess what? If you become dependent on the government for the money for your food and to feed your family, they can shut off your family's food too.
Right.
Like, that's it. Like, that's all there is to it. It's like just the next step in their like insane grab to try and like just destroy and kill off society. And we keep like standing back and just watching them do it. So, and check it out.
How about little Greta staging her arrest?
Dude, I saw a headline that said Greta carried off by police and she's walking alongside him. That's like that's just like AOC when she was like faking like she was arrested.
Yeah.
Like, it's all theater, it's all drama, because none of it's real. Their points aren't real. What they want isn't real. What they claim is the problems aren't real. The real problem that we have in this country is apparently half the country is so fucking stupid they keep voting for liberals. So, and being libertarian, I know it sounds weird that I keep saying this, but I'm socially liberal in that the government has no business telling you what you should do, which means if you want a gas car, you should have a gas car. And they should stop playing favorites and stop trying to pump up an industry that is not ready to compete yet. Okay? There's like one car company that can actually compete with electric vehicles, and that's Tesla. And they can only like compete in a luxury market. So if the woke tards want to go and buy an electric car that the government's going to shut off whenever they want, they can. Stop pushing it on the American people and stop using my money to subsidize some rich asshole going out and buying an electric sports car or an electric SUV.
Right.
Okay. And then like, oh my God, the shit in California with the reparations.
Oh, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard of. Wait.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
How many slave plantations were in California?
None.
That's weird. So you're telling me that there was no slavery in California?
Never. And if there was anything that could be argued to be slavery, it would be the conditions that they put the Chinese railroad workers under.
Right.
Oh, but the Asians are discriminated against under California law, so you know.
I didn't know Asians could be discriminated against.
Well, I mean, they're close enough to white, but the woke tards don't think so.
Right.
And that's why they ignore it as thug-ass black people are attacking Asians all over the country, and the media just ignores it.
Throwing them into fucking railroad fucking tracks and shit, or subway tracks. Stabbing them to death, fucking beating the shit out of who beats the shit out of a little old Asian lady that's trying to get on an elevator?
Black people.
Fucking retarded, dude.
Like, I mean, if you look at the story, they leave the race of the attacker out because that's who's perpetrating the crimes, and it does not fit their narrative of black people being the agreed victims. Okay, in this country, black people account for 13% of the population and 60% of the violent crime. Period. Now you can debate
how much of that violent crime is against other black people.
Oh, the majority of it.
Yeah, like 80% of it, probably even more than like 95.
Yeah, the reality is when it comes to homicides and stuff, people kill people that look like them because they associate with people that look like them. And most of the time, if you're murdered, raped, or assaulted, it's by somebody that you already know.
Right.
So if Black Lives Matter, it's time to start penalizing these black criminals, this thug lifestyle. If black people care about black people, they need to stop buying albums from rappers that glorify being a gangster, violence, selling drugs, shooting people, attacking the cops. Because when you're supporting rappers that are doing this, you're also simultaneously conditioning your kids to behave in this manner, which perpetuates generational violence between black people. And you also, with all these people talking about, like even Jay-Z just put out a song where he's like obviously talking about when he used to sell drugs and now he sells albums and now he's legit and blah, blah, blah. Okay, but you still legitimize the criminal element which is going to make these kids go out there and do this. And okay, great. Jay-Z is obviously a brilliant guy. Like, he's a good businessman. That's why he's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? So that being said, him being a brilliant businessman, that's not the case for all of these kids that are being pumped up by these rap videos to go out and be criminals. So what they're really going to do is they're going to end up hooked on drugs, they're going to end up with criminal records, and they're going to hurt their opportunities for the rest of their life. Why? Because some rapper wants to brag about being a piece of shit to make money. You know what?
And influence,
rap
and it influences people.
Huh?
And it influences people.
Yeah, they need to rap about how horrible it is to be that kind of piece of shit. They need to rap about how getting up and getting out to work and supporting your family. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, Dr. Dre, Eminem, these guys, they didn't get fucking rich being gangsters on the street.
No.
Dude, Dr. Dre was spending like 80 hours a week in the office trying to get his label off.
Right.
Eminem spent 60, 70 hours a week working on his lyrics and working on his rhyme and practicing his craft to be successful. They didn't sit around getting high all the time and thinking that it was all just going to come to them.
Eminem was working on his craft for a lot longer than that. I mean, he had been working on that for
No,
years.
But my point is he was putting in 60, 70 hours a week for a decade before he was discovered. But he was doing the work, and you keep working. And this is a country where if you keep working and you keep honing your craft, and you know what's funny? I don't hear Eminem in his songs saying that it's good to be a piece of shit.
Yeah. He always talks
As a matter of fact, most of the time when he talks,
a lot of his songs are him bragging about being a piece of shit, like killing his wife.
Yeah.
Just
but at the same time, we also all know he didn't kill his wife. He didn't kill his mom. He didn't rape his mother. It's obviously, you know what I mean?
To make money, yeah, but
yeah, well, no, but my point is, it's obviously like sarcastic. It's not obviously. It's obviously not serious. He didn't kill his wife. His wife's alive, or his ex-wife. He didn't kill his mom. His mom's alive and suing him. You know what I mean? Well, at the time that he wrote the songs, that was what was going on. You know? And at the same time, you know, like, he sang songs like demonizing gay people, but fucking gets up there and sings with Elton John, like gives him a big hug at the end of the song. You know what I mean? There's performative and then there's life. And he separates performative from life. Okay, and the people like it's not cool, and it stopped being cool like 30 years ago, rapping about being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, and rapping about womanizing and rapping about whatever happened to feminism. Why do these fucking people still support this shit? Like, what happened to feminists? Like, how are they okay with the objectification of women 30 years later? It's not groundbreaking anymore.
The patriarchy is taking over.
The
patriarchy is taking over the feminist movement.
Yeah, and the matriarchy is busy singing about their WAP. So I don't know. That's what I thought on that. So
I got some breaking news.
What's that? I got
leftist New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern unexpectedly resigns.
That's nice, but he was probably just told by the World Economic Forum that he has to.
No, it's a chick.
Or she. I don't know. I don't care. Know how many shits I give about the government in Australia after they were like locked up and abusing their people?
She said it's because she does not have the stamina to seek re-election.
Meaning she knows people are tired of her and she'd lose anyway?
Yeah. The way she treated fucking the Kiwis over there, man.
Dude, yeah, it's ridiculous. Is that New Zealand or Australia?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Oh, yeah, that chick's a dingbat.
They're the Kiwis, right?
I don't know.
The Aussies are the Australians.
All I know is there's more sheep than women there, and all the guys are still always smelling.
Mm-hmm.
Take that inference how you want.
So Karen's gene pairs snaps at reporters. It's not your decision to make on what I can and can't answer. So apparently she's not answering questions about the fucking document gate. Because it was at first like a night and day difference between Trump and Biden's handling of classified information. But here's the thing. It is a night and day difference in the fact that Trump had his fucking documents all together in one location. And so who knows if they were actually classified documents or not. And he had Secret Service there. And the FBI knew what he had when he had it, told him to change the lock. He changed the lock. And then they made a big deal about it. And then the media is trying to say that fucking Trump wasn't cooperating. I'm like,
Bill Clinton,
you got idiots.
Was in the stock drawer. Like, I'm sure that's what those tapes are. That's why he didn't want to get up. Probably not. You gotta kind of feel sorry for that. She's like what? And she's still only known for.
I didn't hear any of that.
I said at this point,
you got to feel
sorry for them. Hello.
Okay, you just said hello. Okay.
What the fuck?
Like, I heard what the fuck.
And can you hear me now?
Uh-oh.
What the hell? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Now I can't see you anymore, Brad. Your shit must have went too. Wow, looks like the pull-up bureau is messing with our feed. I thought that was just me, but it looks like it was the whole restream collapsed. Generally speaking, restream's been pretty good to us, though. Anyway, well, what he didn't catch, I hope he can hear me. Brad, if you can hear me, refresh your screen. I was just saying that I feel really bad for Monica Lewinsky. The woman's like 50 years old and still best known for giving a blowjob. So anyway, yeah, we talked a little bit about the reparations bullshit. So what you really have over there is not only was it not a slave state, you've got a bunch of people that were never slaves are going to get reparations for never being slaves from people that never had slaves and whose families never had slaves. You look at the immigration rates in the U.S. since the Civil War, and a grand majority of the families in this country are descendants of people that never held slaves. So the idea of reparations at this point, yes, there should have been reparations at the end of the Civil War. The people should have gotten their 40 acres and a mule that they were promised. Okay? They didn't. The Democrats then spent, what, another 100 years denying them civil rights with Jim Crow laws, creating the KKK to attack Democrats and to keep people from being able to fully participate in society and get ahead. And so they ended up behind in the generational wealth department and the generational development and advancement. It's still just a total like joke that you're going to take money from people that didn't do anything wrong to make up for crimes committed against people that aren't going to receive the reparations. It's an absolute joke. So the next thing that I was going to talk about, Joe Biden. Basically at this point, like I'm getting really, really tired. Oh, what's up, Trade? You're back. Hey man, did you ever check out my other channel? Did you like it? Here, let me put this up on the chat overlay. There we go. So anyways, well, thanks for joining Trade USZ. I'm still really confused about your handle, but thanks for joining us again. Anyway, so Joe Biden. This guy and his document shit, like we're getting really tired of it really fast. And I think that's kind of the point. I think they're trying to drown us out on all this stuff early on. So by the time, like they did it right after the election, so it wouldn't impact the election, but we're 2 years out from the presidential election. So by the time it gets there, then it's gonna be like, oh, that's all old news. Okay. So, and the Democrats do this a lot. Like they'll have something, they'll talk about it for 5 minutes, and then they'll immediately, oh wow, yeah, hey, you know what? I kind of get what you're saying there. Like, I don't spend a whole lot of time watching on YouTube, and spending even less time on there now that YouTube keeps kicking us off for 2 weeks at a time, 2 weeks at a time, 2 weeks at a time. Now we're on like 2 strikes. On the plus side, our current suspension will end after the first strike ends. So, you know, hey, at least we'll lose that strike. It's such a joke. But we're on 2 strikes now. So we're waiting for one to drop off so we go back down to 1 strike. The goal, I think, is to keep us from ever getting monetized because we're conservatives. We're not politically correct. We call it like it is, and they can't handle that. So, yeah, that's just, it's ridiculous. So I hope that Americans, as this whole document thing is coming out is starting to get it. And the reason why is, for once, we literally have a direct comparison. Oh, appreciate that. The comparison between Biden and his documents and Trump and his documents, they made sure to hammer so hard on Trump that it's in everybody's minds. So now they're trying to paint, well, it's the same, but it's different. It's the same, but it's different. But people aren't that stupid, okay? Low information voters, they're low information. They're not stupid. They don't go out and seek the facts. So they just kind of like take the streams that the narrative is given to them. But a lot of the mainstream media, even they're getting tired of the bullshit. And I also think that, you know, Biden is kind of done for. But I hope that like the same liberals start getting the point that every place where things are bad, every inner city, every major city in the US is ran by a Democrat, has been ran by Democrats for years, both in the mayorship and the city councils. Every now and then you'll get a Republican mayor, and then it flips right back to Democrat because they can't get anything done because of the city council that's still all Democrats. You people out there, like, you need to get out, you need to vote, you need to take your grandma to vote with you, you need to take your aunt, sister, uncle, brother. You need to explain to people, especially the younger people in your family that are just getting out there, you need to explain to them why you can't make decisions based on emotions. And that's what Democrats do, is they get you like emotional about stuff. Oh, well, you know, we don't want black people like dying at the hands of police. Well, nobody wants black people dying at the hands of police, but then they like create this whole narrative around something that isn't really a problem, because you're talking about, out of what, 30 million interactions with police, like 12 people died. Like, that's not a problem. You get more people dying pretty much daily at this point, or at least weekly, in Chicago. Isn't that the greater concern by far? And then you go back and then you got to like take the angle of justifiable actions in that. So it's like it's all bait and switch. So when the facts come out later, they never go and correct. Okay, all the news media push the PP tape, the Russian collusion hoax, Alpha Bank. You had people like Schiff saying, oh, I've seen the evidence. And then he admits, when he's put under oath, that there was never any evidence. He never saw anything. He never had anything. Okay. So what they're doing now is they're pushing out all this Biden shit like out in front, so later they can disavow old news. They're doing and if you don't believe that that's their playbook, it's exactly what they did with Hunter Biden's laptop. They all knew the story was real. They all knew that it was Hunter Biden's laptop. They all knew that it wasn't a Russian bullshit. They did it to hide it for Biden. Now they're covering it, admitting that it's right, but it gets so little play. It's like they put up a story, they know it's false, millions of people watch it, but then like at the end of another video where there's something else bigger to talk about, they'll say, oh, by the way, yeah, and this was wrong. But millions of people already saw the other one, and the retraction doesn't get any views. When they edit a written article, like nobody reads the edited article because everybody saw it in the first 3 hours that it was out. Everybody sees the video in the first 3 hours. So anytime they go back and correct stuff, they know nobody's going to see the correction. So nobody's going to understand how bad they are at their jobs. Nobody's going to go back and like check what they're actually doing. And this is what they're doing with Biden. Right now they're saying it's different. It's different. It's different. What Joe did isn't a big deal. When it turns out later, he may have endangered the security of the United States. He definitely broke a bunch of laws. The whole pay-to-play thing was real. The whole Biden crime family corruption is real. And the media is already setting up to shoo it under the rug, because then they have to come out and admit later that all of it is real, that Biden is a criminal, that this is a crime family that was popped up by the Democrat establishment. It's going to be old news, so nobody's going to even watch the videos or read the articles because they're going to be like, yeah, I already read that story 1,000 times. But this time it's going to be the true story, so nobody knows. So I could see this clown sitting in his basement running for president again and winning again because the media runs cover for him. But you got to keep paying attention to the stories. Like, I don't know. If you ever had a kid that got in trouble, like, I'm a parent, so I get this. When your kid gets in trouble, they tell you one story about what happens. And then like a month later, you hear a little bit more of the story. And it's not quite what they said happened before. And then you get a little more of the story. And it's not quite what it, so the narrative keeps changing. And Democrats behave just like children. They behave just like children. They're telling lies. They're going to keep pushing the story little by little and counting on the fact that nobody's going to hear the end truth. You know what I mean? And anytime anybody's talking about it on the other side, they're going to attack it. So like they're talking about we need to investigate Joe Biden, and they keep making it about Hunter Biden's sex and drugs, and nobody cares about Hunter Biden's sex and drugs. What they do care about is now this drug-addled junkie that was buying prostitutes was having those prostitutes in a house with top secret information that Joe Biden was never supposed to have. And the fact that the UPenn Biden Center, which was paid for by the Chinese government, that had Chinese citizens in there, where there was unsecured classified documents. That's the story. Not just that he did what Trump did, but not only did he do what Trump did, but the people that were pumping money, $1 million a year to Joe Biden, $80,000 a month to Hunter Biden. Who knows how much? I haven't done the math, but his brother got it. Everybody in his family was getting paid off by the Chinese government, by Russia, by Ukraine. Like this, Hunter Biden has never done anything in his life. The only thing he's ever excelled at is doing drugs, and he was meeting with heads of states. Why? To set up the next bag of cash for his family. That's it. That's all he was doing. So they're going to keep like trying to play out the false narrative and then come back and do the corrections later. You got to stay on top of the stuff because it's going to come back later and it's going to matter. And they really want you to be tired of reading articles about Joe Biden. They want you to be tired. Hey, and Brian G joins us too. So, come election time, they want you to be tired of reading articles about Joe Biden and his corruption. They want you to be tired of Hunter Biden and his hookers. They want you to be tired. And then the girl, the Chinese girl that was part of the packing party, like literally, like I think Tucker covered it. God, I love when Tucker like puts shit up because I really don't like Tucker, but he comes up with some really good shit. There's this chick that's been working in Washington, D.C. at elite levels for 10 years, and there's not a single photograph of her. And she was Hunter's assistant, and then she was Joey's assistant. And like, yeah, I mean, it's just all crazy. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. But I think the point of the way that they're handling this story is that they want us to be sick of the story before it's consequential. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and the government's still trying to censor Trump. They're still getting involved. Schiff and all those clowns are still working to try and keep Trump off of Facebook. So,
oh, of course.
Anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm so done and over Joe Biden. I wish this dude would hurry up and go to jail now. Like, I think probably the biggest mistake that Trump made in his presidency is not having the crimes committed by dude. You know what? I hate his personality. I hate the way he talks. But the dude has good stories.
He does have good stories. I just find it funny Because every time I would say something conspiratorial, you would be like, "Oh yeah, is that what Tucker Carlson told you?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't even fucking watch Tucker." And then all of a sudden, all you do is start talking about Tucker Carlson. I'm like, "Is this guy for real?"
Dude, I think I said that about one story because, like, dude, some of the stuff that Tucker Carlson says is kind of conspiracy theories, but I think we're seeing over the last few years that if there was a conspiracy theory, it was true.
Well, it seems like with Tucker, I don't really watch his show.
Brian, there's something going on with your mic, bro.
Yeah, yours seems okay. Rob echoes like crazy, and then I get an echo.
But your voice is echoing really bad.
Yeah, Rob's is echoing really bad for me too.
Well, yeah, I can hear it coming back. It's coming back. I know mine's coming back through Brad's mic. Like, I think his speaker's too close to his microphone. So we all need to go back to headphones.
Oh, that's better.
So you're still getting a little static.
Everybody's voice for me comes over fine, except for Brian's. His is like robotic.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is my voice coming back through your microphone, like from your speakers to your microphone.
Well, yours is a lot better now since they moved the mic away.
And Brian still looks like he's comatose in the grave. Anyway, Brad, did you hear what I was talking about at the beginning about the debt ceiling?
No.
So I was talking about, like, Congress needs to stand on it. They need to not do it. For every dollar that the Democrats want in the raise in the debt ceiling, it needs to amount to $10 and cuts. I mean, the reality is what we're doing, and I was talking about this earlier, what we're doing is our credit cards are maxed out, so we're taking out a loan to make the credit card payments and still spending the same amount of money. No, actually, correction. Spending more money. We can't make the credit card payments for the ones that we have now, so we're taking out a loan to pay the credit card payment and opening new credit cards. It's so stupid.
Yeah, makes no sense. I say shut the government down. It doesn't do any good fucking when they are working. So
I can't find the story. I had seen it earlier on National Review. There was a hockey player refusing to go along with the Pride celebration. Now I can't find the story. Dude, Caroline Downey over at the National Review is good. She's got a teen girl blasting the YMCA after she walked into the women's locker room and encountered a cop.
Yeah.
So she did that story, but she also had the story about one of the Philadelphia Flyers refusing to take part in the tribute to gay people. Like, oh, there it is. Yeah, Carolyn Downey too. Dude, she's a good journalist. So you should check out her work over at National Review. She does a really good job. So, of course, the article doesn't want to pull up for me when I want to. Anyways. Do you guys have anything you wanted to cover from the news?
Oh, man. Cowboys made it further in the playoffs than the Jets and the Seahawks.
Jets haven't seen a playoff since, I don't know when.
It's been a few years. Are they out now?
Who?
Yeah, the Jets were long since eliminated The Jets were eliminated from the playoff contention in October. Yeah, your mic definitely has problems, Ryan. We can't hear you at all. Right. Okay, I'm looking for the player's name. So the team trans draft. I can't find the name. Anyway, so did you guys hear what was happening with the trans teams?
What?
So they're like starting. The NHL is starting a trans league.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So did you see the story about the trans woman, which means biological man, hit a tiny ass trans man, which means biological woman, slammed her to the ice, and sorry, it's a girl. Like she can pretend she's got a dick, doesn't. Slammed her to the ground and gave her a concussion. And yet, this is what they want in women's sports: men brutalizing women. Like, there are like 180 million men in this country that I'm really ashamed of for being okay with trans bullshit, hitting men against women. Am I wrong? So it's good. The Flyers player, I can't find the name. It's good. The Flyers player that like stood up to that. DeSantis is like against it. Like I'm liking DeSantis more and more every day. Like he seems to be on the right side of every issue right now.
Who's that? Tucker?
No, DeSantis.
Yeah. He's winning popularity. Trump's gonna have to get back on Twitter, dude.
Dude, at this point I don't think Trump's actually serious.
Who knows?
Like I said before, I think it's a Trump marketing ploy. And I think very soon he's going to be like, oh, I'm out of the race. I throw my support to DeSantis, blah, blah, blah. That's what I think. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, did you guys catch the trades came on? He was checking us out again. Trade USD. He hopped on and watched our stream again. So
Nice.
before you got on, we were having a little chat.
We got a loyal listener.
Yep, always on. So anyway, I don't have anything else. Everybody watching, make sure to like, subscribe, share, because we're definitely not being promoted by any of these censorious assholes that run the social media company. You know, Fuckerberg and the like. So, anyways, y'all ain't got anything else. I think we can call today a wrap. Brian's just throwing a deuce.
See you guys later. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. And I can't believe that we were like so close, but Brad didn't bring up his donkey show. All right, I just had to get that in there. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. You have a great night.